Hi there, Karen O'Connor here, and I have to tell you that I am extremely sleep deprived today. So I am not going to be doing any singing or demonstrating in this video. I'm just going to be talking, but I did want to ensure that I get a video out to you this week. And so I'm going to be talking about practicing with a sense of direction and purpose. So most singers have a pretty good idea of where they want to be technically in terms of their vocal skills. They listen to a lot of other singers. They know they like to sound like this singer here or be able to do what that singer over there is able to do with his or her voice. But then when they set aside their time for practicing, they seem directionless, sort of mindlessly repeating the same drills and songs, but without paying any mind to how they are singing those exercises and the purposes behind them, and without mapping out a clear path for getting them from where they are now to where they want to be. I always tell singers, don't just practice for the sake of practicing. Have a clearly defined sense of direction and purpose in mind. We need a clear sense of direction during our practice times in order to make those sessions productive and effective in terms of getting us that much closer to achieving our technical goals. So I have a few tips for practicing with this sense of direction and purpose. First, you need to know precisely what it will take to get you from point A to point B. This includes an understanding of the physiological mechanism and the vocal tract settings or configurations that need to be mastered in order to achieve the desired result. You may find that you need to research more about the voice and how it functions and discuss this with a singing teacher who can explain to you what is required on the physiological and acoustic levels to achieve your aesthetic goals. Then you'll need to figure out which technical path to take to get you to your destination. This will require you to make an accurate, objective assessment of your current skills. You need to know what point A actually is. You need to discuss this with the teacher and maybe have a teacher analyze your singing and give his or her professional opinion on what you're already doing well and on which areas of your technique you'll still need to work. And then he or she can help you come up with a sort of systematic plan of action to get you from point A to point B. Then approach learning this new skill or technique systematically, one step at a time. Don't aim directly for producing the finished product or the performance-ready sound before you've laid a proper technical foundation that will ultimately help you succeed in your endeavors. Putting the proverbial cart ahead of the horse like this seldom leads to desirable results. Like an order of operations for solving mathematical equations, if you miss a critical step along the way, your solution will prove to be incorrect. So approach your work step by step, thoughtfully, patiently. Don't attempt to rush ahead of your voice or its development. Stay focused on your goal, your destination, yes, but all the while being mindful of each individual step that you need to take and master first so that you can get there. Back to the analogy of mathematical equations. You need to first learn how to add, then subtract, then multiply, then divide before you can successfully solve a complex equation. So let's take belting for example, and let's call this our equation. Belting is considered to be a desirable skill for all vocalists who perform in contemporary commercial styles of music. However, so many singers want to learn how to belt without first taking all those baby steps. They want to sort of teleport themselves from point A to point B. They're like the kids in the car asking, "Are we there yet?" at every single mile marker. They want to fast track and skip steps if possible. Again though, the results of skipping necessary steps is always a technique that crumbles atop its rickety foundation. There's a process to learning how to belt, an order of operations so to speak, and the first step involves ensuring proper body alignment so that the support musculature can achieve a good dynamic balance, and then the vocal tract can also be aligned for a good suspension of the larynx. Then the singer needs to achieve balanced phonation. This is a matter of interaction between the three components of the vocal apparatus, the motor, the vibrator, and the resonator. If the singer can't achieve balance of the breath, glottal response, and resonance, including registration, and also eliminate all inessential and undesirable tensions, then his or her belted voice is going to be out of balance and unhealthy. Then the singer needs to develop the registers, both the chest and the head registers. Then there's a mixing of these two that can take quite a bit of time to develop. I realize that physiologically, mixed voice is not exactly a mixed or shared muscle dominance, but today I'm using the term mixed voice for the sake of simplicity. So this requires learning twang, getting the brightness and efficiency in the voice so that the chest dominance can be extended safely to be a good foundation for belt technique. After all of these skills have been developed, finally, the singer would start addressing and learning belt technique directly, learning how to make the vocal tract adjustments necessary in order to achieve that trumpet-like blasting of the voice without losing balance of the vocal instrument and risking injury to it. Developing technical skills is a process, and no part of that process can be neglected or skipped over without there being some sort of undesirable result or consequence, which may include vocal strain or injury. Now, whatever your singing goals are, if you are having difficulties knowing where to begin or in which order certain skills should be addressed, seek the advice of a teacher. All your practice, training, and experimentation should be guided by what will be required of you technically to produce the quality or skills that you desire, and by an understanding of the natural design of the vocal apparatus so that your technique is premised on correct physiological principles or assumptions, and so that your instrument remains healthy. Finally, as I've discussed in another video called Tracking Progress in Singing, keep a journal noting anything relevant along your journey and periodically record yourself singing. And when you're listening back to those recordings, listen objectively and functionally. Don't listen with the expectation that you should already sound like you're at point B. Don't judge the sound as you would the finished product. Listen to whether or not your coordination sounds as though it's improving and taking you in the right direction. And even when you're listening to other singers who are doing what you wish to be able to do, listen for both inspirational and educational purposes. When you practice with a clear sense of direction and purpose, your work will be more rewarding, more efficient, and more fruitful. As always, I am here to help support and guide you in any way I can, so please don't hesitate to connect with me here in the comment section on the SingWise Facebook page or in an email address to Karen@singwise.com. Now, one last piece of advice, try to enjoy the process. Take in the sights and the sounds along the way. For many, the journey itself is just as rewarding and exciting as the arrival. So, happy travels from point A to point B.